So let's go to the corporate guys. If you want to sell to a corporate buyer, what we've done that a lot. We think there are three simple things that can make it work and be successful. And the three things are that you are going to transition with the business and you've had previous corporate experience, meaning you've lived in a corporate environment. If you're an entrepreneur, if you started the business or took it over from your father and grandfather, and you're not used to reporting to everyone, this is going to drive you crazy. This isn't going to work. So you're going to be railing against the bureaucracy and the systems, and it's going to be tough for you. If you've had corporate experience and you can live in that kind of environment, if you care about your community and your employees, so you want to go with the business and ensure that the baby's taken care of under this new ownership. That's important. And the third one is the earnout. In other words, if you have an economic interest, or your management team or whatnot have an earnout or potential success as the business goes forward, that's a critical one. So if you look at this, what this really says is cares about your employees and community. Well, that's your heart, and your pocketbook is the earnout. So one, you have previous corporate experience, and you've got your heart and your pocketbook in it, and that can make it work. And let me give you a couple of examples. Cablet Corporation, that's Harry Schell. Guy was terrific. This was a $40 million business. We bought it from Phelps Dodge. It made high voltage electric power cable. You've probably seen those big wooden reels in the street, right? With the big thick cables. That was the business. It was losing about $1 million. And Harry, God bless him, fabulous team, built it to 300 million, and we sold it to a British International Cable Corporation. So the interesting thing about Harry was he fulfilled the criteria. One, he actually was he had been in the military. He was a successful executive at Phelps Dodge, so he had the corporate experience, right? And he loved his people. You talk about care about your employees. He loved them, and in fact, I was kind of young at the time, and I was learning a lot. And I remember at Christmas one year, at the time we started with one plant. We ended up with 7, but at the time we had about 4 or 5 plants. And Harry was telling me, getting on a plane, I'm going to go shake the hand of every employee. He actually used to put a red sweater on and walk through the plant. And I was thinking, as a young guy, I was kind of like a greedy little capitalist guy because I didn't know anything. I was like, wow, how does he have time to do that? And I asked him, he said, you know what? These are the people that make it work. I want to show respect. I want to shake their hand, and I want to thank them for what they're doing. And I never forgot that lesson. I mean, it was fabulous. So he cared about his people. And the third criteria, we had an earnout. So there was a $40 million on the table, depending upon how the business did. Harry went forward. He ran the business. He ran it in the British International Cable Corporation's environment. Worked like a charm. Absolutely fabulous. Worked out for everybody. Another example is John Mahoney at Translogic. Translogic was a really neat company. It's about 25 million in revenue. It made pneumatic tubes, which you probably think of as really stupid. Those little tubes you probably saw in department stores where they put the money in and it goes. That's really kind of not what it was. They would have these, for example, in hospitals, if you have, 3 hospital buildings and you want to get a blood sample from building 1 to building 1, the 3rd floor, to building 5, the 10th floor. Well, you can put all those medications and blood samples and bandages and all this kind of stuff. You can do it immediately without chewing up nurses' time or administrative time. So it was really a terrific business. Anyway, John had been with the corporate. This was underneath the corporate umbrella. We bought it, 25 million in revenue, and then we sold it to Thyssen, a German company. So now, again, a corporate buyer. So what are the 3 criteria again? John had worked he was an engineer, talented guy, had worked in a corporate environment. He understood those environments. It worked for him. Second thing is, cared about his people, loved the community, wanted to see this work. Third thing is, we had an earnout. There was like $7 to $10 million available depending upon how the business performed over the next 2 years. He stayed, we made the earn out, worked like a charm.